Welcome friends to the season finale for Season 6 of The Lord of the Rings Online. In this episode I'm going to be wrapping up everything here in the Trollshaws because right behind me is the passageway leading into Season 7, that is the Misty Mountains. So as a reminder, you can go to my website at renaissancegaming.net/lotro.html and there you can see the completionist checklist. You can scroll down to the Trollshaws, that way you can see all of the quests and deeds that I have done here, and all of the ones that still remain. The quests that I left behind are ones that I cannot do at my current level, or that require me to venture to other regions, so I'll come back to them accordingly. So, as we begin here, I just want to show several things. Number one, I've had this thing in my inventory for a while, Gift for a Hero, which I can open at level 40, so let's go ahead and finally open this thing. And I got a bunch of junk here. XP, Mark Acquisition, Slayer Deed Accelerator, and then I can open up the next present at level 50. So, in these last episodes, or I should say the finales, I like to go over all the deeds, all the virtues, new gear, all sorts of things. So, let's kind of go through some of those things. Let me look at some of this that I'm going to be taking with me to the next season. I'm still going to be going red line here. I don't really have any points left to spend. But I'm basically just trying to do as much damage as possible. And then as far as race traits, they don't really matter too much, honestly. There's really nothing too good. I'm going to keep all the same things that I have. And I might as well put Hobbit Silence down here, which gives me an ability to kind of feign like that. And then finally, as far as virtues, I'm going to keep the same ones. These are mainly defensive type virtues. So tactical mitigation, resistance, all those sorts of things is what I'm going to stick with for now. So let's see what else. Oh yes, I did craft myself a new set of gear. So I crafted one for level 42. And then also another set for 45, because I'm almost level 45, but I didn't want to keep my current gear, so I just went ahead and did two sets. So let me go ahead and equip all of these. I did craft all of these items on my characters. So let's change things out. And these are all criticals, so I worked pretty hard to make sure I had a nice crafted set. So I did also craft some jewelry. However, I believe that the jewelry that I'm wearing now, I believe I got my current set in the auction house way back in Breland, and they're still better than the current jewelry available for crafting, so I'm just going to keep what I have. And just so I can show you guys, I did kind of work on the crafting on this guy. Woodcutter and, Forester and Woodworker, both master, and farming I haven't really worked on yet. So, as with any other season that I go into, I give myself a new title, so I am now Kip and Proudfeet, ally of Rivendell. And then, also, heading into the Misty Mountains, it's expected it's going to be pretty damn cold up there. So I got myself a new cosmetic outfit for the next season. So there we go. I'm ready to brace the cold. Got these pretty sweet items. I especially like the 3-wolf Howling at the Moon cape. So it should be pretty fun there. What next? Let's go over some of the deeds here in the Trollshaws. So I did do all of them. Let's see. Trollshaws. So we have some of the explorer deeds that I'll go over, including Ruins, the Wilds, and the Road to Rivendell. And then there are also deeds in the wilderness. These three are related to doing a ton of quests here, which of course I've done all of them pretty much. And then there's the Slayer deeds, crawlers, giants, trolls, wights, wolves, worms, all sorts of goodies. So let me show you some of those deeds right now. The first exploration deed is Ruins of the Trollshaws. These lands were once the eastern extent of the old kingdom of Rudar. They have lain in ruins for many long years now, and most are inhabited only by wild beasts, or horde creatures that have crawled more recently out of the depths of Angmar. The first landmark is the Trapdoor Lair. Of the larger spiders of Middle-earth, it seems that some have descended from a particularly dark and evil brood. Among these creatures, it is not unheard of them to possess cunning and intelligence or even power to speak in the languages of men. It is rumored that one such creature has made this ancient ruin its lair. The next landmark is Ostondal. Built as an outlying watchtower of Nantorneth to the north, Ostondal once stood watch over the approaches to the Fort of Bruinen. The next landmark is Minas Cilient. A fortress was constructed in Nantorneth long ago. It was built as a series of strong watchtowers in these high hills, connected by elegant spans. Minas Cilient was the northwestern corner of these towers. Next up is Ostkal. Ostkal was once the main keep of the tower fortress built into the hills of Nantorneth. Now it lies in ruins, like all of the other remnants of the Old Kingdom here in the Trollshaws. Next is Amon Varad. The Tower of Amon Varad was named after the high hill upon which it was constructed, providing a commanding view of the surrounding valleys. Next is Osbrandrus. This is another of the towers built upon the hills of Nantorneth, and combined into a fortress that once provided a commanding presence for the Old Kingdom here in the Trollshaws. All of this has lain in ruin for as long as many men can remember, and only the elves can speak of its ancient glory. Next is Barad Glamgil. Barad Glamgil overlooks the southern approach into Nantorneth, as well as a dramatic waterfall which cascades into deep pools at the base of the hills below the tower. Finally, there is Osturgon. Osturgon was constructed by the ancient kingdom of Arnor to stand guard over the main crossing into the Trollshaws, and thus deny it invaders from the east. However, the greater threat proved to be from the north, and this fortress fell into misuse and eventual ruin as wars raged elsewhere. The next exploration deed is the road to Rivendell. The lone winding road through the Trollshaws leads to the last bastion of civilization for a great many leagues. Travelers must take care while exploring this road, however, for it is not well guarded from the dangers of the wild. The first landmark is the last bridge. Beyond this bridge, the domain of men ends. While the lone lands have long been left desolate and rarely traveled, the lands beyond are altogether wild and untamed. Only the well-seasoned wanderer or skilled adventurer would brave the Trollshaws alone. The next landmark is Barakan's camp. At the behest of the sons of Elrond, Barakan the Elf established a small camp in the southern Trollshaws, from which to watch the threats on the road to Rivendell. The elves Elflank and Rockwind, bound to him by friendship rather than command, assist Barakan with his duties and work to keep the road free from danger. The next landmark is the Fort of Bruinen. This is the only crossing of the River Bruinen until it joins with the mighty Grey Flood far to the south and west. The waters seem calm and placid here, but the signs along either bank suggest that the river overflows its course with great violence from time to time. Finally, there are the Gates of Imladris. The southern passage into Rivendell is called the Gates of Imladris, and establishes a clear bastion of civilization and safety in an otherwise wild land. Nevertheless, the elves of Rivendell guard this approach carefully, and it is not entirely safe for travelers to approach unannounced. Those who pass this way with ill intent in their hearts are rarely seen or heard from again. The final exploration deed is the Wilds of Tâl Bruinen. The southern Trollshaws are dominated by the Wilds of Tâl Bruinen. Few even amongst the elves live here now, and the forested hills have become heavily overgrown and inhabited mostly by wild beasts that pose a constant danger to travelers and the few who try to eke out an existence in these undisciplined lands. The first landmark is Cirith Uluinn. Though worms can be found scattered in the other areas of the Trollshaws, the breed here has grown particularly deadly and numerous. Indeed, the aggressive hunting instincts of these vicious beasts do a great deal to dissuade those few explorers and settlers who might otherwise take up their livelihoods in the Wilds of Tâl Bruinen. The next landmark is Eced Candleth. The ruin of Eced Candleth is believed by scholars to have once been a center of art and learning in the ancient kingdom of Rudar, before it fell beneath the corrupt sway of Angmar and was destroyed in wars with its neighbors, after which its original name was lost. Now it simply acts as a makeshift camp for those hardy souls brave enough to explore the surrounding wilds. The next landmark is Eren Singor. Though it is a wonder to behold, travelers who allow themselves to be lulled by the natural beauty of Eren Singor rarely emerge from its treacherous ravines. A host of deadly wood trolls have taken up residence within, and delight in descending upon unwary hunters and explorers and tearing them limb from limb. The next landmark is Ekad Garadon. While civilized men long quit these hills, a tribe of wild men have recently taken up residence here, seemingly at home amongst the dangerous beasts and natural hazards of the region. Alas, they have a savage disposition and display an obvious hatred of those who intrude upon their territory from more civilized lands. The next landmark is Torek Ulug. It is said that there is a nesting area for the numerous worms who infest Tâl Bruinen, and it would seem that you have stumbled upon it here at Torek Ulug. Take care, the mothers of nesting worms are known for their particularly vicious disposition, as well as a ravenous appetite for fresh meat to feed their young. Finally, there is Delisad. What are these strange ruins? They seem to be of ancient Cardolan origins, but the elves of Rivendell seem hesitant to speak of them at all. Some strange mystery surrounds them, and it may be that the only answers can be found within. Next up, we have the Slayer deeds of the Trollshaws, beginning with the Giant Slayer. This is definitely the most difficult of the Slayer deeds, and it is meant to be completed in a fellowship. You can see these giants have a ton of HP, they do a ton of damage, they stun you constantly. It's very tricky, and there's only one spot to kill these guys at, and that's, of course, Giant's Valley. Enjoy this little fight here. Next up, there is the Trollslayer deed, and this is probably the best spot to do this in. These trolls look mean and big, but they barely have any HP, so this deed actually goes by pretty quickly. And the scenery's nice too. Next, there is the Wight-slayer deed, and if you actually do this deed at night, there are many more wights here in this region. If you come here during the day, you will notice a significantly lower number of wights, so try to do this one at night. It'll make your life a lot easier. You basically run around in the Ring of Ruins up here, and that's where they all are. Next up is the Wolf-slayer deed, and this is probably the only place where they're concentrated to any significant degree, so this is definitely where you should head in order to complete this Slayer deed. Droglad is what this place is called. There's a big mean wolf at the end of it too, if you remember from a quest here. Finally, there is the Worm-slayer deed and also the Crawler-slayer. This is an excellent place to do both of these two Slayer deeds, the Crawlers and the Worms. Okay, next up, I would like to talk to you about the Reputation faction here in the Trollshaws. There is only one, and that is going to be the Elves of Rivendell. The Elves of Rivendell hold counsel over the wise in the lands of Eriador. If there is any power that might hold fast against Angmar and its dark magics, it is here. Nonetheless, recent incursions into the Trollshaws by evil men and goblins have set the elves on edge as they quietly prepare for their last war. So, in order to get kindred here, you can pick up some items, you can do quests, you can do deeds, all sorts of goodies. But once you do become kindred with them, you actually gain access to a pretty cool little region, and there's all sorts of goodies that you can barter for, including the horse. So let me go ahead and show you that right now. So this is the secret area in which you can find the Elven faction of Reputation. It's right here at the Fall of Imladris. So let's go in. I really like the fact that for this place, they actually had a whole little secret area. It kind of feels like an exclusive club that you belong to once you get kindred. You can see it's really cool. It goes down deep. Some nice waterfalls. Some statues. All the goodies. I'm also just a fan in general of caves hidden in waterfalls. So the whole place is called Imlad Galar, and it's pretty cool in here. But more importantly, there are some reputation vendors that can sell you a bunch of goodies. So this guy doesn't really sell you much, he's more of a crafting guy, but here's one of the reputation gentlemen. And he's taking forever to load his store. But he has some furniture for your house, some pretty cool statues of very prominent elves from way back in the lore. And basically you can see the cool things here in the yard, the special furniture. There's a map table, which I might get actually at one point. But yeah, and then there's this lady here that also sells some junk.
Is there aught which you need?
So there are some recipes for furnitures, like some paintings, like retaking Weathertop, some other cool housing decorations. And what else? There's this thing, if you're an elf, you actually get this that increases some of your virtues, so that's pretty cool. I'm a hobbit, so I can't make use of that. But more importantly, we have this thing here that's for lore masters, which summons a pet. But the best of the best is the prized Rivendell pony, which I'm going to get, of course. And I'll show you that in a little bit. So that's pretty much it in here. There's not much else besides the scenery and all that. So let me hang out here in the middle. Pretty cool. Alright, that's all for the reputation here. Okay, and that's it. That is the end of the season. Let's set off some fireworks in order to celebrate. Of course. Nice. Perfect. So let me show you the new steed here. The prized Rivendell pony. Pretty cool looking horse. And it's going to take me all the way to the Misty Mountains. So thank you guys very much for joining me on this adventure. I hope you enjoyed the season as much as I enjoyed playing through it. In the next one, we're going to brave the cold that is the Misty Mountain. It should be a lot of fun, and I hope you will join me there. It's going to be an excellent season, as always. Be sure to subscribe, join the fellowship, and leave a like on the video. See you next time.